Welcome back. Time now 7:44. The governor and state officials making a lot of news this week after new restrictions were put in place for bars and restaurants due to rising COVID-19 metrics. Indoor dining no longer allowed in Chicago, many of the suburban counties, due to the mitigations. With us this morning is President and CEO of Restaurant Solutions, a consulting and accounting firm, Matt Vannini. Good morning to you, Matt. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me this morning. How are you?
Great. We're doing good here. Happy Halloween.
Thank you. You as well.
So, Matt, what does this do to restaurant owners? I spoke to a lot of them this week, did a lot of stories about this, and they say, okay, the first shutdown, we were told was going to be 2 weeks. It ended up being 3.5 months. What does this do to restaurant owners?
You know, it's for an industry that is so incredibly resilient and used to struggle. This really puts a barrier on them that is, on the surface, it seems very, very challenging. And I think the focus now is it becomes more black and white. You know, if you cannot. You have to determine what your budget's going to be and what your break-even's going to be without having the benefit of indoor dining. And I know on the surface that sounds absolutely crazy to some individuals because their businesses are obviously set up for in-room dining. But I will tell you, there's an interesting fact that when the pandemic started and we started to look at curbside pickup and delivery sales, those sales immediately became about 10% of all of the sales for the dining and outside dining. Now that those are no longer options, it is absolutely critical for the operator to take a look at what their survivability rate is with just delivery. And hopefully they have a clear path forward that way.
So it seems like, and again, doing stories this week, it seems like corporate chains a little bit more likely to survive. Those small mom and pop places, those places are going to struggle.
You know what's really interesting about that fact is when I look across our clients and I look at the corporate clients versus the independent clients, they are working in parallel. On the surface, the corporate chains appear to have resiliency in a corporate structure. But I want my independent colleagues to understand that the diners, the guests are there. We are there. We want to support you locally. Yeah. So you must have a digital presence. You know, people are asking all the time for what are the 3 things that I have to do. Number 1, you've got to make sure your digital presence is there and that it is an extension of your business, that your guests can order online. For those individuals who have struggled with using third-party delivery services, it is time to get over that struggle. The fees that were charged, the governments have gotten, the legislatures have gotten involved. They've mitigated some of the fees. You must use a third-party delivery service. If you're trying to go this alone, now is not the time. Just for the marketing ability that those services have,
it's convenient.
You've got to engage in those.
It's very convenient. We do it at least once a weekend. We're probably eating out more than we have just by getting takeout. So a lot of bars and restaurants, as you know, defying the governor's order, staying open. A lot of these places saying it's worth the risk because we might be shut down in a couple of months anyway.
My advice to those operators, never to condone doing something outside of the regulations. So win with your mind, folks. Understand what the capabilities are without having the in-dining experience. If you can get your brand into your guest living room, and that's going to make sense to you. You know, unfortunately, the real victims here are going to be the employees because the operators are in the business of keeping their businesses open. And unfortunately, that's going to come at the expense of some of the employees. So let's hope that this is just short-lived. And then after the election, the money's already been approved. So after the election, hopefully the second round of the PPP can at least carry everybody through the winter.
Sure. Okay, good advice there. For more information, head to restaurantaccountingservices.com. Thanks for being with us this morning, Matt. We appreciate it.
Good morning. Have a great Halloween.
Thank you. Happy Halloween to you.